The views and opinions expressed by participants and callers during this program are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or policies of ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation, its management, or sponsors. The station accepts no responsibility for statements made. Good morning, St. Kitts and Nevis, and welcome to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me on the program for today, Friday, January 31st, 2025. It is just 3 minutes past the 11 o'clock hour. This conversation is also being carried live via our social media platforms, so you can check us out on our YouTube page at ZIZ Online and via Facebook at ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation. And, of course, we are on Channel 5 ZIZ TV. When we open the phone lines later, you may call us at 662-8674. That's 662-8674. You are listening to The Edge. And, again, thank you so much for joining me. Let me use this opportunity to extend birthday greetings to those of you who are celebrating today, tomorrow. And remember those who are mourning the loss of a loved one, and I pray you find comfort during this trying time. I want to open the baton this morning with what came out of the National Assembly on Thursday. And it is in relation to steps that were taken by the government to address or to curb the rising number of road accidents and fatalities here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And you will recall over the past few days, weeks, and I say months, the conversation has been centered around road safety and people driving carefully, people taking their time when they're on the road. The conversation has been centered around what could be done, whether it be from the traffic department, whether it be from the government, or what could be done from actual road users, drivers and pedestrians alike, to curb the rising number of road fatalities and road accidents. And so the government launched or put together a committee, I believe, which was tasked with coming up with measures or steps, bold steps, to curb the rising number of road fatalities and road accidents. And so the Vehicles and Road Traffic Amendment Bill 2025 introduces stricter penalties to curb reckless driving. So we as citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis have been saying that people are driving carelessly, people are not using the roads how they should be using them, we are losing our people to these road accidents, and we need action. We need action. Something needs to be done. And that is what we have been calling for. Over the past days, months, weeks, we've been doing it via social media. We've been having these conversations, whether it be at home, at the family table. We've been having these conversations at the bars. We've been having these conversations on the bus, all over. We've been talking about it. And so here it is now. We have stricter or tougher penalties that have been introduced. And so one such penalty, the first one is reckless driving fines, no range from $6,000 to $8,000 and up to $20,000 for repeat offenses. And so the idea is, when you hear these figures, it makes you, I would think twice before wanting to drive recklessly. Then you have careless driving fines doubled to $8,000 for injuries, with repeat offenses reaching $10,000. Then you have the driving under the influence penalty is increased to $10,000 for the first offense and $20,000 for repeat offenses. And causing death by dangerous driving now carries a maximum sentence of 10 years. And so these are the penalties that have been introduced in response to or to curb the rising number of road accidents and fatalities. I'm saying we have been calling for more to be done. We have been pleading and saying, man, if you're not a man, you should get X amount of years, or you should pay X amount of money for violating traffic laws. Well, it has come. It has come. But still, as I've been saying, and I'm pretty sure as you have heard, the onus is still on us, you know. You still cannot take out of the equation individual responsibility. And so even though we have these stricter or these tougher penalties and the new traffic amendments or laws or whatever to curb the accidents and the fatalities, the onus is on us. And so we ought to do what is necessary to reduce the number of accidents and fatalities in St. Kitts and Nevis. It's a very small community. Going back to December, I think it was the second week of December, that road fatality that took 5 lives, that sent shockwaves across St. Kitts and Nevis. And I even saw where regional media outlets picked up on that. Because for our population size, you've never really heard an accident of that magnitude where 5 people lose their life as a result of the accident. And then we had a few others after that. And so, guys, the responsibility is on us. There are times that you're going to be late. But when you speed, you may very well never get there. There are times when you say, well, let me drive a little faster because I have this to do or that to do. And nobody's saying that you can't drive, you can't do 30 or 40, but it's when you do it recklessly. No regard for pedestrians, no regard for the other road users. And I've been saying, driving fast, especially in Nevis, as a road user there, it is risky because you got all these donkey and sheep and goats all over the place. You're coming around a corner, you're coming down there by, after you pass a big part going down there by Noel, a load of donkeys line up on the side of the road like some police. You can't be speeding in that area, you know? So it puzzles me when people drive really, really, really fast in certain areas. You're coming around a corner, you don't know what's around there. Apart from a vehicle parked in the area or somebody there. For me, I'm looking out for a donkey or a sheep because they're all over the road. So I'm saying, guys, the responsibility lies on us and we really have to do better. Yes, these measures have been implemented to curb the accidents and the fatalities, but people are the ones who operate the vehicles. We are the ones who operate these vehicles. And so we really have to do better. The drinking and the driving, it's an epidemic. Drinking and driving has become the norm, where people consume unreasonable or reckless amounts of alcohol and they go towards operating a vehicle. And they tell themselves, man, I can handle this. I can handle this vehicle, man. I gotta worry about nothing. But you don't know, because you don't know how impaired or influenced you have been from that alcohol. But drinking and driving is a major issue here in St. Kitts and Nevis, and of course other parts of the world. But I'm speaking to where I am at right now, where people, they go out and they drink and they drink and they drink. And I'm not gonna say to any big person that you can't drink, because that's you. That's if you want to do that. But if you go out and you know you plan to consume alcohol, man, get a designated driver. Ask a friend, boy, I put in one too many. You could please take me home? Or better yet, sleep in your car. Sleep in your car. Sleep in your car. But too many times, man, people, they know that they're intoxicated and they try to operate the vehicle. And what's unfortunate is, well, let me choose my words carefully here. So people are intoxicated. They go and they operate these vehicles. And many a times they harm other lives. And they they come out of that accident with not even a scratch. And I've seen that happen too many times around here. It's 11:15. We'll take a break. And when we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on The Edge. The phone lines will be open at 662-8674. So call us and join in on the conversation. Share your thoughts, views, and opinions. Stay tuned.
Hey, guess what? It's Radio Market.
Call in and sell your merchandise. You can negotiate, give away and trade.
We on radio, internet, and TV.
Like us, share us, and subscribe to
ZIZonline.com.
And remember, we don't sell nothing over $5,000. Join us every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock right here on ZIZ Radio. Call 465-6120, 465-1903, 662-8674, or 718-577-2916. ZIZ Radio, giving back to the people.
Join us every Wednesday for In Focus, a weekly talk show produced by the St. Kitts Nevis Information Service, where we provide exclusives with key persons within the government and discuss pertinent, relevant, and interesting matters that affect us all. Tune in every Wednesday, live on ZIZ Radio and streamed live on Facebook at SKNIS Media and ZIZ Online. In Focus, your government, your business.
It has been 2 years since Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew led his team to victory at the polls and assumed the reins of government. He and his team came to office on the promise of restoring our nation to its glory days, when good governance assured every citizen and resident was guaranteed economic stability and employment, quality health care and education, modern housing, and visionary social protections. But where are they now? And how do they measure up in delivering on the promises made to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis? Join me, Ebony Brandon, on ZIZ Television each Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. with a rebroadcast on Fridays at 8 p.m. for the limited episode series, The Nine, an era of transformation. As together we explore how the Dr. Terence Drew-led government has followed through on their commitment to transforming the nation into the world's first sustainable island state.
From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
The views and opinions expressed by participants and callers during this program are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or policies of ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation, its management, or sponsors. The station accepts no responsibility for statements made. Welcome back to The Edge in ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM. The phone lines are open and we're taking your calls at 662-8674. That's 662-8674. Call us and lend your voice to the conversation at hand. We are talking about the measures or the tougher penalties that have been introduced by the Parliament, the National Assembly, as it relates to reckless driving. And these steps have been taken to curb the rising number of road accidents and fatalities here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And this was during the National Assembly sitting, which was yesterday. Okay, let's take a break quickly, guys, and we'll be right back. Yes, welcome back to the Edge and ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM. For those of you who are just tuning in, we are on the conversation of the tougher penalties that have been introduced by the National Assembly, and it is in relation to stricter or tougher penalties for reckless driving. And what we are saying is, while these measures have been implemented, and it is indeed commendable that these tougher penalties have been introduced, the responsibility still lies on us. The responsibility still lies on us, and we are to do what is necessary to protect ourselves on the road. And so you know that you're driving with infants in your vehicle, you either get a car seat or you ensure that they are properly strapped in, not in the front of the vehicle. These are things that we cannot and should not take for granted. But I still maintain that the onus is on us. We got to take that individual responsibility. The phone lines are open and we take your calls at 662-8674. That's 662-8674. Still on the local scene, I want to just share an update with you. And this is in relation to the measures that have been implemented by the government to curb road fatalities, and it's with regards to dashcam footage and car seats. So as part of the efforts to improve road safety and reduce traffic related fatalities, the government has announced a series of duty-free incentives aimed at encouraging safe driving practices, and the measures are expected to make essential safety equipment more affordable and accessible to the public. Dr. Drew in the Parliament yesterday emphasized the importance of the initiatives, particularly in light of the alarming number of accidents that we have recorded in recent years. And so these duty-free concessions have been approved on two key safety items. One is dash cams are now duty-free, and so to encourage road users to monitor and report reckless driving, dash cameras, those are the cameras you put on your dashboard, will now be duty-free for importation. Citizens will be able to install dash cams in their vehicles to record and report dangerous driving behaviors, aiding law enforcement in penalizing reckless drivers. And then we have child car seats. To ensure the safety of infants and young children, the government has made child car seats duty-free. Studies have shown that properly secured child car seats significantly reduce the risk of injury or death in an accident. Quote, too often we see children riding in vehicles without proper restraints. Making car seats duty-free will remove the financial barrier and encourage more families to prioritize their children's safety, Dr. Drew noted. He said to reinforce the importance of child passenger safety, failure to use a child car seat will now result in a fine of up to $500. Additionally, the Prime Minister disclosed that a new policy will be implemented at the hospital to ensure parents understand how to properly secure their children in vehicles. He explained that before being discharged, all parents who own a vehicle must demonstrate the correct use of a car seat, adding that a car seat will be included as part of postnatal care, alongside guidance on breastfeeding, vaccinations, and general information surrounding childcare. But definitely car seats. I love these measures that are being implemented, because we are the same ones who are saying that there needs to be stricter measures. We are the same ones who are saying that, the government needs to do something as it relates to all these road accidents. What is the government doing in response to these accidents? And so we are seeing now where these measures have been implemented, and not just to say to go out and buy dash cams and go out and buy car seats, but duty free. and so we're taking off or making an effort to reduce the cost of these items that are needed to ensure road safety. But it still comes right back down to us in terms of individual responsibility. We knowing what is necessary, we knowing what is right, and doing what is right. Road safety. And I know too many a times we take these things for granted, which is quite unfortunate. And then we have to deal with the fallout of it. It's 11:28. I think we have our first caller for the morning. We'll take this first call. The caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. King. I listened to the thing yesterday, the House of Assembly, right? But sometimes when the Prime Minister lead, the police, them don't go full speed, like they want to knock you off the path too. So it goes to the police, them, and it goes to all who join it. And we should safe journey with it, that everybody could understand and get a car seat if they have the money to get it. Or they get an old one to buy second hand. And you take care, safe journey home too.
All right, you too, and thank you so much for your contribution to the program. You've made a really good point there. I think the only vehicles that are excused from that are emergency vehicles that are in an emergency at the time. So fire trucks, if a fire truck is coming down at 70, 80 miles an hour, it is because they are responding to an emergency. And so, the fire officers have come here and they've gone to other media outlets to call on our people to adhere to those. It's a law where emergency vehicles such as the fire, they call them fire appliance or the ambulance or the fire trucks, you ought to make way or clear the way when those vehicles are coming. So those I completely understand. But thank you, caller, for your contribution to the program. It's 11:30 and we are taking your calls here on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. The phone line is open. Call us at 662-8674. That is 662-8674. You're listening to The Edge for Friday, January 31st, 2025. And just like that, we have ended what people have said is the longest month of the year. I think January in and of itself is a year. And then the year actually starts in February. But I feel like this is the fastest January that we have experienced. I have never seen a January fly by so fast. And somebody made a joke the other day that there's something very serious about 2025. Normally when you go from one year to the next, you normally write the old date. So in December, you write December 2024, and then you write January 2024. Nobody making a mistake now. Everybody writing 2025. So that shows how serious 2025 is. It's 11:31. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on The Edge.
It has been 2 years since Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew led his team to victory at the polls and assumed the reins of government. He and his team came to office on the promise of restoring our nation to its glory days, when good governance assured every citizen and resident was guaranteed economic stability and employment, quality health care and education, modern housing, and visionary social protections. But where are they now? And how do they measure up in delivering on the promises made to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis? Join me, Ebony Brandon, on ZIZ Television each Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. with a rebroadcast on Fridays at 8 p.m. for the limited episode series, The Nine, an era of transformation. As together we explore how the Dr. Terence Drew-led government has followed through on their commitment to transforming the nation into the world's first sustainable island state.
Attention
Attention business owners. This Valentine's season, let ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation help you spread the love and grow your brand. From January 19th to February 14th, take advantage of our exclusive Valentine's advertising package. With ZIZ, your heartfelt message reaches thousands across all popular radio platforms. Make this Valentine's Day unforgettable. Promote your romantic specials, products, and services to an audience eager to celebrate love. With our customized ad solutions, we'll help you stand out, spark connections, and boost your sales. Don't miss out on this perfect opportunity to share the love and maximize your exposure. Call us at 869-662-8203 or email sales@zizonline.com to book your Valentine's campaign today. ZIZ Broadcasting, connecting your business with your customers this Valentine's season. Valentine's advertising specials, January 12th to February 14th. Call 869-662-8203 today.
From the heart of ZIZ Radio comes a political talk show like no other. The Edge, with host Devonne Cornelius giving you his take on the biggest stories happening in governance today. Got something to say? Let's hear it. Give us a call at 869-465-2555, Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. One solid hour of in-depth analysis of the machinery that makes our country tick. The Edge, cutting into the matters at hand.
The views and opinions expressed by participants and callers during this program are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or policies of ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation, its management, or sponsors. The station accepts no responsibility for statements made. Welcome back to The Edge in ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius, and thank you for joining me on the program for today. It's 11:36. The phone lines are open, and we're taking your calls at 662-8674. For those of you who are just joining the conversation, we have been talking about the tougher penalties that have been introduced by the National Assembly, and it is to curb reckless driving. It is to curb the number of accidents and road fatalities that we have here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And I must say that the penalties are indeed tough. The penalties are indeed strict, and it shows the seriousness. It shows the seriousness of this issue, and we ought to do what is absolutely necessary. I maintain that the responsibility lies on us. The responsibility lies on us, and we are to do what is necessary. We can't, on one hand, say, man, there needs to be tougher penalties. But then when these tougher penalties come, there is resistance. There is, I don't think that should have been done. Or we should have taken this approach instead. Or we should have done that instead. The responsibility still lies on us to ensure that our roads are safe. It's 11:38 and you're listening to The Edge. I wanted to look at what has happened over yesterday on the international scene with regards to that plane crash there, or collision between the helicopter and the American Airlines plane in Washington, D.C., and how horrible or horrific that was. And looking at some of the comments, or some of the things that came out of it, rather, what the response has been like, and how it stunned people. I was listening to a news report last night where a husband, I believe, showed a message between him and his wife, where the wife sent him a text to say that she will be landing in about 20 minutes or so. And so you could imagine the shock and the disbelief that he is in right now. And so my thoughts and prayers definitely go out to the family and loved ones. I saw some news last night that one of the victims is of St. Kitts and Nevis heritage, the daughter of a doctor who is originally from St. Kitts. I think the name is Dr. Maurice Duggins. Dr. Maurice Duggins or something like that. His daughter was one of the victims on that flight, which killed about 67 people. And that is heartbreaking. And then, of course, news here, I think most of you have been following, where the Coast Guard discovered a vessel drifting off the coast of Nevis with about 19 badly decomposed bodies. And we have since heard from authorities that documents found on the vessel suggest that they may be from Mali, West Africa, and it includes at least one woman and one child. I mean, I'm going to call it what it is. That appears to be desperation. It begs the question: where are they coming from? Why have they decided to make such a journey? How did they get there? How did they die? These are questions that are going through the minds of many people. The police have launched an investigation into what could have led to that. I mean, they have not ruled out any possibility, but you would imagine that that investigation will take some time to really ascertain exactly what could have caused that. I don't think this is the first time we've stumbled upon, well, let me say in the region, but we've had cases where boats come ashore here in St. Kitts and Nevis. I think the last one was from Haiti, and then we had from the Cameroonians, some Cameroonians, who came ashore. That's a hell of a journey to make, boy. Coming from all them places there too.
Imagine the boat drift, man.
Yeah, and I looked at the photos. The police, they released some photos, and it was a really small engine. So maybe it was a case of engine failure. Maybe they were heading elsewhere in the Caribbean. I don't know. But maybe it was a case of engine failure, and the boat just started to drift. And being on sea for several days without food and water, you're talking about extreme conditions. Must have been, or it could have been, or it may very well be, hunger. And the extreme conditions that they were exposed to. So that is another story that we are monitoring. It's a developing story, and we are definitely monitoring that. And as we get more information, we'll share the details with you, our listeners and viewers. It's 11:43, and you're listening to The Edge in ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. The phone is open at 662-8674. That's 662-8674. If there are no calls, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation for today. Stay tuned.
Join us on ZIZ TV for Youth Lounge with Skanifer, a talk show on vital topics such as tourism, entrepreneurship, education, religion, sex education, and mental health, featuring experts from St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean region. Tune in live on the first and third Wednesday of every month at 8:30 p.m. on ZIZ TV.
Healthwise on ZIZ TV, Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Hosted by Dr. Monique Lescott, Dr. Jolette Woodley, and Dr. Patrice Lawrence.
Hey, guess what? It's Radio Market.
Call in and sell your merchandise. You can negotiate and negotiate, give and trade.
We on radio, internet, and TV.
Like us, share us, and subscribe to
ZIZonline.com.
And remember, we don't sell nothing over $5,000. Join us every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock right here on ZIZ Radio. Call 465-6120, 465-1903, 662-8674, or 718-577-2916. ZIZ Radio, giving back to the people.
Make me some music.
Listen, you hear that song? It's Nostalgia on ZIZ Radio from 1 to 3 in the afternoon on Thursdays. On Nostalgia, everybody has a good voice, so relax and go in the zone with us. Get your songbook, look in the index, find the song that is playing, and sing along. Join ZIZ Radio every Thursday from 1 to 3 for Nostalgia. It's music to soothe you right where it hurts. ZIZ Radio, touching you with variety and style.
The views and opinions expressed by participants and callers during this program are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or policies of ZIZ Broadcasting Corporation, its management, or sponsors. The station accepts no responsibility for statements made. Welcome back to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. You're listening to The Edge. The phone lines remain open at 662-8674. That's 662-8674. That's the number you call to lend your voice to the conversation at hand. But if you're just tuning in, we've been talking about the tougher penalties that have been introduced by the government of St. Kitts and Nevis to curb the rising number of road accidents and fatalities here. And these penalties are definitely some real tougher penalties, and they include reckless driving fines now range from $6,000 to $8,000, and it's up from $20,000 for up to $20,000, for repeat offenses. Then we have careless driving fines doubled to $8,000 for injuries, with repeat offenses reaching $10,000. $5,000. Driving under the influence penalties increased to $10,000 for the first offense and $20,000 for repeat offenses. And causing death by dangerous driving now carries a maximum sentence of 10 years. Technology for safe roads, automated ticketing for speeding, tickets sent via mail. Then we have a public reporting system where it allows citizens to submit dash cam footage of reckless driving and up to $5,000 reward for convictions. Traffic surveillance cameras to monitor and penalize speeding and reckless driving. I think it's going to be similar to that system in the US where cameras are installed in tandem with the traffic lights, and so if you run a red light, the camera automatically takes a snapshot of you, and it captures your face, it captures the car, it captures your license plate number, and that information is sent off to the traffic department. So this is definitely a major and a bold step at making our roads safer. And of course, the Prime Minister spoke about efforts to fix and maintain those roads that are in bad condition in terms of those Olympic-sized swimming pools that we have around the place. Mashing up your shack and them kind of things, your shacks and them kind of things there. So they are addressing those, which is really good. And then we have the duty-free incentives for safer roads, where dash cams are now available, let me pull that back. Dash cams are now duty-free. So if you want to bring in a dash cam for your vehicle, you would not be paying duty on that. And then we have child car seats are now duty-free because those could be very costly. New fine of $500 for failing to use a child car seat, and hospital policy where parents must demonstrate proper car seat use before discharge. And let me emphasize on this. Don't just take the car seat and put it in the car. Some people don't do that. They literally take the car seat and they put it in the car and they put it in the chair. They strap it in the chair, but they strap it in the car seat. And so something happens and the car seat gone with the child. The car seats they're not strapping in the car seats. They're just strapping in the child. So that's just a gentle reminder.
Hold the line, sir. Hello, hold the line.
I think we have a call on the line. Hello, caller. Okay, we seem to have lost that caller. 662-8674.
I'm getting a sound in the background.
662-8674. Perhaps they have their radio on. If you have your radio on, please turn it off and move away from the radio. Now we're getting some terrible feedback there.
But it sounds like it's a switchboard by.
The phones remain open. 662-8674. Okay, we're having some issues here. We're not getting that call out clearly. So I was making the point, you have people driving around with the car seats, but they're not strapping in the car seats, but they're strapping in the child. But I think the measures that have been implemented are really good. And the onus, again, as I mentioned, is really on us as to do what is necessary to ensure that we keep our roads safe. Always remember that you're not driving for yourself. You're driving for other people. You're driving for other road users, especially when you're operating a bus or you're operating public transport. And even if you're not operating public transport, but you are in a populated area, one of those school zones, you gotta be so careful. Every day when I sign out from this program, I encourage our people not to drink and drive, not to text and drive. And we really need to do our part. We really need to play our part in making our roads safer. All right? You're listening to The Edge here on ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM. It's 11:52. If you're just tuning in, I've been talking mostly about the measures or the tougher penalties that have been introduced by the government to curb the rising number of road fatalities and accidents. I think we have a caller on the line. Let's take this call. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Good morning.
Okay, good morning.
Yes.
I heard you say something there about the new system that they're going to install. If I'm in my car and I run a red light, how could the instrument that you all intend to install kind of pick up my features? I could understand me license number and so forth, but not my features. How could that be?
It's possible, caller. As I explained earlier, it's a camera. Yeah, but it could pick up that there's a person there, so it might get your face. It might get that you're wearing shades. It might get basically your face. So it's not gonna get a full size photo of you. That's not what I was trying to explain. But of course, it's gonna get the car. It's gonna get the driver's number, the license plate number, and it might get your face. Especially if your windshield is not tinted dark, as they have been saying to people that really and truly it should be no more than 10 inches. I don't know if you understand clearly what I'm saying.
Yeah, because they have some vehicles where hello?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
The tint is about 6 inches down. So you're saying that this instrument that they intend to install would be able to pick up my features?
I'm saying it's possible.
Features ain't important.
Okay.
I'm saying it's possible, Carla.
Okay.
So let me jump in there. The features is not important. The registration of the vehicle is the only thing that is important. If your car is caught in any accident or anything, it has nothing to do with who is driving at the moment, but who the vehicle belongs to.
Because it's easy to identify.
They would have to, because let's say for instance, you borrow somebody's car and the car get in an accident.
Mm-hmm.
They're not charging you, they're charging the owner of the car. The owner of the car now has to say, well, this is the person who was driving.
The car. Yeah, okay.
Here's where the insurance comes in now. Is that person allowed to drive the car? Here's where you're losing your insurance. You see what I'm saying? Has nothing to do with the person's face or whatever it is. The number of the vehicle, the registration of the vehicle, and the vehicle, that is what counts. It traces back to the owner of the car. The owner either going to take the blame and pay it, or tell your friend, boss, you cost me $100, I need me $100.
Yeah, and that's it essentially. But I made the point that it's gonna be similar to the system that they have in the US, where I've seen where it takes the full image of the car, your license plate number, and you get your letter, because they use that registration number, the license plate number, whatever the situation is, and they could tell if the car belongs to Ronnie Rascal or Devonne Cornelius. And it's for us to say, well, they probably may be able to tell, but they would know if it was Ronnie driving eventually, or if it was me driving the vehicle. Somebody's going to pay. It's 11:56. I think we can take maybe one more call, and then we'll bring the program to a close for today. 662-8674. It's 662-8674. If you're just joining the conversation, we've been talking about road safety and the tougher penalties that have been introduced by the government in response to or to curb the rising number of road fatalities and accidents. It's an accident, and accidents happen, but they could be prevented. And again, I'm sticking to the point that I'm making, that it's individual responsibility. Sometimes you ain't really gonna wait to go, but you just say they need to drive ridiculously fast. No regard for people on the side of the road, no regard for other road users. And again, some people driving when you're real fast in vehicles that ain't good, They're not maintaining their vehicles. Bad tires, bad brakes. This ain't working, that ain't working. Imagine the anxiety level. Speaking for me, I ain't driving in the old car fast. You understand? I take it with time, brother. I take it with time.
What do you call it old?
Old car, them car, always malfunctioning. The brakes ain't so hot. You press down and you take a while for the car stop. You tread shine on the tires. Really and truly, that's illegal because you ain't supposed to be driving around with no treaded tires, but on the wiry tires, but it happens. It's 11:59. You've been listening to The Edge on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM. I'm your host, Devonne Cornelius. Until next time, you guys, stay safe. Don't drink and drive. Don't text and drive. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. And happy, blessed, productive, and joyous February when it comes tomorrow. Stay tuned.